Venture Trends event, as Mike said, is super popular. And we really try and look at, what we do is we survey people, mainly general partners, and ask them what they think the trends are for the next quarter. And that would be Q1 2023. And then we compile the results and we organize this event to discuss those trends. So let me get started by walking you through what the big trends that general partners around the world think. And then we're going to tell you how to discuss them. And it's going to be an exciting event for everyone. So first and foremost, all the trends that were reported pretty much indicate that there's an early stage boom going on. Limited partners are coming into the asset class to skip the turmoil in the markets because it takes a few years for early stage funds to maturate. So if there's any problems in the market today, early stage funds will skip the blip and start to get returns once the negative market dynamics pass. So it's a very interesting time in early stage. And one of the most popular trends, which benefits early stage a lot, are lower valuations. So we're seeing a lot lower valuations in the later stage rounds, and we're seeing lower valuations in earlier stage rounds. So in general partners that predicted the venture trends for Q1 2023 believe that lower valuations will continue. It's not great for later stage investors per se, because there have been some markdowns and other things that affect later stage investors negatively. But this is great for early stage investors because they can get better pricing on the deals that they invest in. Just one other comment on this. There's been some interesting data out there about how the size of later stage rounds has been steadily decreasing this year. And the main reason for that we are seeing is that, these later stage investors that have come from PE, like Tiger Global or whomever, are pulling out of venture to refocus on their other asset portfolios. And so these big pools of capital that have been fire hosing money into the later stage are now gone. And that is affecting why some of these later stage valuations are coming down. But lower valuations on the whole benefit the early stage, and they, on the whole, negatively affect the later stage. Another trend that, and there's a bunch of trends that came in around 6%, and I just rounded it to 6%, but I put them in order. So the next most popular 6% trend are more acquisitions. And I'm guessing that managers feel that this is going to be a trend, and I'm seeing it happen in some of my own portfolio, et cetera, is that because the later stage valuations are coming down, companies that would have been pretty attractive to large buyers, if the prices were reasonable, are suddenly becoming attractive to large buyers because the prices are reasonable. So large buyers might have said, I'm not going to buy this technology or this solution or this leading player because they're too expensive. But all of a sudden, if their later stage valuation has dropped by half or more, in some cases more, suddenly they become an attractive investment or acquisition target, in some cases also an investment target. And that benefits, again, the early stage investors the most, because they will see the largest multiple on their investment, even if the acquisition value is less than the last round, because instead of it being maybe a 100x, now it's a 50x return, and a 50x return is still great. Another 6% or slightly less is that a lot of the managers predict there's going to be more venture capital firms. And listen, running VC Lab, we can say that that's almost a certainty. Right now, we're just in 2022, VC Lab alone will accelerate 250 venture capital firms, the large majority of which are new managers, so new firms. So and we're growing. So there's no question that there's going to be more venture capital firms in 2023 than created in 2022, and more in Q1 created than in Q4, et cetera. Another trend, slightly below new and more firms, is more due diligence. And, with the whole chaos happening in crypto, and a lot of investors saying, how was this exchange passing due diligence? And people wondering, is this a due diligence mistake? Investors around the world feel that more due diligence is coming to venture capital, and that's a good thing. I mean, the story I've heard told about the Sam fundraising experience is he would walk into a Sequoia or whoever and say, like, hey, you got 1 week to decide. I'm not giving you any financials, and let me know if you're in and out, and kind of left, dropped the mic and left. So obviously there's not a lot of diligence that can be done if someone's not giving you financials and 1 week to decide. So I think that the return of sort of logical due diligence is a trend that's for the better. The last 6% trend now goes into some industries that we're seeing people get excited about, and deep tech wins the industry list. A lot of investors feel that there's going to be more deep tech companies and fundings happening in Q1. And that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of lowering of costs to make deep tech companies. So companies that might have been requiring a large amount of capital investment in the past now can be achieved with a much lower amount of capital being invested. And so we're going to see an explosion of interesting deep tech technologies in 2023, and people feel that's going to begin in Q1, and that's exciting. And last but not least, on the industry side is growth in AI. And I think if you haven't played with ChatGPT, I strongly recommend as an investor that you play around with it. It's pretty clear that the world of search, the world of content creation, and frankly, many other worlds are going to be disrupted by what this contextual chat technology with AI. I'm getting answers far better than I would get on Google in far less time. And then I can ask clarifying questions rather than, doing another search and spending another 5 minutes researching, and I get an instant answer. And most of the time, the original answer and the clarification are pretty good. They're not great. It's not like Einstein wrote it, but it's also beta. So can you imagine what V1, V2, V3 look like? And that's just the beginning. So AI is the last of the major venture trends that I'll cover. We'll have